My name is Courtney Terry, and this is Arts Alive. My guests today are Maggie Bowman and
Hi.
Jack Parkinson.
Hi.
And you are both metal artists for a very broad term. We can get more into it. But you're here to tell you talking in a couple weeks on Saturday, December 9th at the Heritage Center is the second
annual.
Yay.
second annual Metal Arts Gift Show. And
Thanks.
it's so exciting.
I'm real happy to have a chance to talk about it. It's the second one. Last year was really fun and well attended. A lot of the comments were, we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
So the goal is to introduce people to all different kinds of metalwork. We have jewelers, people who make armor. Jack is a bladesmith and makes very cool things like this that he can talk about. There are people demonstrating forging skills. Anvil Academy will be on hand with demonstrations all day long, as will Dale Turner and a few other guys out at the Yamhill County Heritage Forge.
Yes.
And that's where I learned how to blacksmith years ago. And I still use some of those skills, you know, even forging little gold snakes for a pair of earrings or a copper bracelet. So I'd like to just kind of turn this over to Jack and let him talk about his forge and his bladesmithing things he does in Newburgh.
Yeah, Jack, please do. So you mentioned you're from Newburgh, and
Yes.
are now back in Newburgh, and you own the Overlook Forge.
Yep, I'm have Overlook Forge. I'm partners with a friend of mine. We've been doing it for about 6 years now, and he kind of specializes in the axes and the hatchets, like what you see right there, and I specialize in the knives. And we've been, like I said, we've been doing it about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
We are not directly affiliated with the Anvil Academy. Everybody always asks us that. They always say, "Oh, are you a part of the Anvil Academy?" Well, so we're not directly affiliated, but yeah, Maggie's got one of my my beautiful things here.
It's so cool.
I can't not pick it up.
This one here is just one of my pieces that I've made. This one's a kukri, a style of a kukri, which is a Southeast Asian, Nepalese. Started off being a agricultural type instrument, and then became more of a fighting weapon later. Things like that. This is one of my designs here. It's just a very cool looking. I call it the Thief because it kind of reminds me of something that Aladdin would carry. You know. I have some chef's knives here.
Oh my goodness. And so the process, so it's the blade, and then also the hand, like I'm noticing like all the different types of handles and the grips and things like that. And so
Correct.
it starts with the blade, I'm assuming.
Well, it starts.
Oh my goodness.
I brought some props.
Yay!
Okay, so this is what I typically start with. About 90% of my blades that I have that I make are completely forged from this. I heat this up, pound it around with a hammer on an anvil, and press it and do things with it, and that's what it comes out of, okay? And then they move on to a phase like this. So this piece of steel probably turned into that, about the same. And so this piece here is actually about ready to get a handle applied to it, to get the finish put on it, things like that. This one has been has been through all the heat treat process. It's been tempered. Everything is done with it, and it's one that's similar to this guy. The process is all about it. It's just I just love it, and some of them are very unique. You know, I do, like I said, about 90% of the ones that I make are all 100% hand forged. Some of them are the popular term for it is a mid-tech knife, which means that I have the basic shape, cut out with a CNC like water jet, and then I finish it from there. But I've come up with the design myself.
Right.
And, you know, I prototyped it out, and then I would have it done. This particular knife here
Right.
is pretty unique. This one, I actually went to a class from a master bladesmith in Tennessee and learned, and we made this knife. This was his design, and I've made one like this. I also have one that I have a couple of them actually at my shop that are made like this. And it's just involved different techniques and things like that.
And what led you? How did you get started with? I mean, when did it start? I guess I should ask.
It was I don't know. It was always I always felt like maybe in a former life I'd been a blacksmith.
I know that feeling.
And I always just had this feeling. I always thought, I really want to forge some steel, and I mentioned it to a friend of mine, and he says, well, I have a forge, and it wasn't the same friend that I'm partners with. He goes, I have a forge, and he tried it out, and he didn't like it. He's more of a woodworker. But, so I had this forge sitting in my garage for like 3 years, and then I finally got with Tony, my partner now, and I said, he came to me, and he had taken a class at the Anvil Academy. And he came back and he says, I'd really like to set up a forge. And I said, well, I have a forge. I just don't have a place to put it. And so we got together, and that's how it all started. And it's just been something that I've always just been very passionate about it. I've been kind of I guess you'd call it a knife guy forever. And it just now it's great because I have ideas in my head and
You can make them.
I can make them.
Yeah, well, and I sound just, you mentioned water jet things and the kind of the equipment and the machinery involved.
Oh, yeah.
But you're using ancient techniques and super modern techniques.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes,
So-
we're using,
Do you ever teach anybody how to do this?
I've done it. I have taught a couple of people, and there's some more on the horizon. I don't know that I can really talk about it quite yet.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
But there's more on the horizon as far as this goes. But yes, we do. We use the most rudimentary technique you could possibly take. I mean, you take a piece of raw steel, and I mean, some of them, none of these here, but I mean, I've used scrap steel like leaf springs or things like that. And you just take them and, just muscle and sweat and, pound them into shape and make them the way you want. But to ensure quality and everything like that, we have like our heat treat process. Like I mentioned, this one's already been heat tempered and quenched and everything to where it has to be. We do that all with a computer-controlled kiln.
Oh.
So the temperatures are exact, and the soak times are exact, and everything is done so that everything is so that there's no margin for error with that. But we do have hydraulic presses, and we have pneumatic power hammers and thing like that, because you'd get old really fast if you were doing it all by hand.
Well, I remember at the metal show last
would
year.
give out.
Yes,
Yeah.
I also did. I made a hook at the blacksmith, and even just the however many long it took to do that, I was like, whoa, okay.
Right.
And that's one of my favorite parts about this show is they let people participate in hitting hot metal.
Yeah.
And, the phrase coming in hot. I've had an opportunity this year to get a jewelry class after school going with the McMinnville High School kids.
Oh,
so
neat.
we're making history, and I have 6 students right now, and they will also have a booth at this event.
Oh, that's so cool.
Along with Mr. Ford's fabrication students who are making fire pits.
Oh,
Oh,
fancy.
So
nice.
I gave them a booth and I said, go for it. So if we don't involve younger kids in these skills, they're going to lose them. We're going to lose the craft.
Absolutely.
And I know Jack has worked with younger kids. I've worked with kids, and Mr. Ford is constantly teaching students how to make things at the high school metal arts program in McMinnville. And I really just want people to come see what can be done. We have people who create art out of recycled materials. We have people who are using 3D CAD design, super futuristic technology. If you can design it, put it on the computer, hit a button, grow a wax mold of it, and cast it in silver. Boom. But then we have the ancient skills where you roll out, you melt the silver, you roll it out, you etch the design. So there's a little bit of everything at this show, and there will be lots of demonstrations.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the that was one of the exciting parts about it, was just getting to see, really going from booth to booth. Yeah, like there would be knives at them and jewelry at the next, and it's exciting to know that we have. And most of the folks, are they Oregon local, Yamhill County local?
I'm calling it regional.
Excellent.
It's the best word I have for it. It's not limited to Yamhill County, but both Jack and I were talking about how many people are working with metal in Yamhill County, all different kinds.
Oh, cool.
So maybe there's a small group that we could pull together at some time. And I do belong to the Creative Metal Arts Guild in Portland, but that's a really long drive.
Yeah.
So I'm a little spoiled. I don't like to drive into Portland if I don't have to, but there's quite a few people here that are interested in metal arts.
Yeah. Well, and I think just the creation of the Anvil
Academy
in Newburgh and the Heritage Center here, and then there's just so much potential and great community around it.
There will be a handful of contestants from Forged in Fire.
Ooh!
I know one of my vendors is a contestant from Forged in Fires. His name is Josh Navarrete. Navarrete from Salem. He has a wonderful program.
Oh, that's cool.
Where
He actually is in charge of the Willamette Valley Blacksmith Association.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
And he does something really special. He teaches classes, but for veterans and first responders, the classes are free.
Oh, wow.
And he will be there not only selling the things he makes, but promoting his program.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, and I love how it's, it's not just about the creating or the vending. It's like I just said, it's the community and the learning and so much of the kind of sharing what goes on.
I'd like to also mention there will be music
Excellent.
all day long. My friend Jeff and his friend Jean will be playing. Another friend named Doug will be playing. And my friends from Salem who play in the Dead Band will play from 4 to 6, and they're awfully good. Did you remember that from last year?
Yeah.
They're awfully good. And there will be 2 food carts and a coffee cart. So come play.
Yeah.
And there is a small entry fee or 5 cans of food. It's a collection point for YCAP.
Great.
For our local food assistance program.
Okay.
We collected over 600 pounds of food for YCAP last year.
Oh, that's amazing. And so is it just at the entries at the door? There's anything in advance?
Right at the front door.
Excellent.
And it's a one-day show.
Right.
It's from 10 in the morning till 7 in the evening. And if it's wildly successful this year, we might consider going to 2 days next year.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, there's so much to see though, and one of the things I loved is you do get that chance to meet the artist and talk with them, and the artist is there and saying I made this and this is how I did that, and there's, I don't want to sound cheesy or cliche, but there's just so much passion for when you listening to people talk, and
it's definitely a different experience to whether if you go to a store and you look underneath a case and you buy something and the person just sells it to you,
Yeah.
But if you have someone that comes up and they actually look at Maggie's stuff or my stuff or whoever's stuff, and we're there to actually talk to them, about it, that's usually
the artwork in this community. The support for artists is unbelievable. With the Art Harvest Studio Tour, I do that also, but we are trying to suggest that people give handmade gifts this year.
Yeah.
Maybe not from a store, but maybe just talk to an artist, buy something. I know that some friends of mine ordered kitchen knives. I know a chef who ordered kitchen knives from you last year, so that was fun.
Yep, a couple of the chefs actually in the local area have bought chef's knives from me.
Oh, nice. Those are precious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those are elite tools.
They are really nice. Yeah. Thank you.
That's incredible. Well, we have run out of time already. I had more. There's so much going on. And
There's a lot going on.
Will be so much going on. So Saturday, December 9th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Correct.
at the Heritage Center. Come. There will be food and drink and music and
You might get to hammer some hot metal.
Blacksmithing,
Yep.
you can definitely hammer.
And if not,
some
you can
hot
just come
metal.
down and talk to us about our stuff.
Yeah, and I know y'all don't mind it when people ask you dumb questions, like, how do you do that?
There
So-
are no dumb questions. That's the
Thank you.
whole
There
point.
are.
And we will have people there who are beginners
Yes.
and up to experts.
Wonderful. Well, Jack, Maggie, thank you so much for coming in
Thank you,
today and
Courtney.
Thank
sharing
you,
with
Courtney.
us. I'm so excited for the Metal Arts Gift Show on the 9th.
Thank you.
Thanks.